Good evening, everyone, from the wonderful lands of Hyrule. We are here exploring a dangerous conversation, a dangerous proposition, and just a dangerous topic in the early world of Tears of the Kingdom. We're still very early, believe it or not. I've been ridiculously sick. I couldn't even play the game. I was that knocked out. Sorry for missing a day or two. Miraculously, I am on the mend. I willed myself to do this, and I've seen people willing themselves to break the game. And that's what I want to focus on and talk about today. And I want to approach it in a really, mature, respectful manner, okay? So I'm not making this video to, glorify this. I just want to have a conversation because I personally feel differently about it than I did when the same thing happened in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, I'm not doing anything new by highlighting this. I'm not, unleashing the hounds. The hellhounds have already been unleashed by other creators, by major websites like IGN. I'm just showing you what's going on, and then we're going to have a discussion about it because I think people are going to feel differently, and I don't know, maybe I can provide some perspective. So basically, what has been, I feel, dominating the last couple hours of conversation in this game is this right here. If you have a bow, you can attach a ruby. You can drop the bow. Link is holding the ruby. You can enter the menu. Link has the ruby on his arrow. You can drop the bow. You can equip a new bow. You can enter and exit and enter the menu real fast. And now the ruby is on a different bow. I drop both bows. I pick them up. I now have another ruby. Ruby. Drop. Equip. Boom, boom. Drop. Double. Doom, doom. 5. See how that works? Okay, you don't like rubies, you want sapphire. Sapphire, drop, equip, doom doom, drop, 3 sapphire. Okay, so basically we have a duplication glitch that's quite easy to pull off. If you want to do this duplication glitch, you can go back and watch that in slow motion. I don't really want to focus on that part. I will say that there's a lot of different glitches going around. This is in the 1.1.0 patch. I'm sure it will be patched out because it does really break the economy of the game. It's also really recommended to have a shield on your back while you do it. I couldn't get it without the shield. I got it very inconsistently, but I now want to just leave that, okay? I'm not trying to hype up the duplication glitch or say everyone should do this or spread it far and wide. My channel is not even the biggest channel. It's just not going to do that. But what I do want to do is talk about stuff like this in the game. Like I said, I covered Animal Crossing New Horizons extensively when there was duplication glitches. And people were very pissed off. And people felt like it ruined the game. And I really agreed because there's a multiplayer component to Animal Crossing New Horizons that really begs for people to play fair and by the rules. There's also an in-game economy in the game that is so directly tied to what you do on a moment-by-moment basis that it feels stupid to completely circumvent that. On the other hand, Zelda, as you are well aware, is a multiplayer nada game. It's a single-player game. That's what I'm trying to say. There's nobody we're affecting, and in a lot of ways, the developers intended for this game to be about play. I've talked about this in other videos that I think Tears of the Kingdom is so much about play and about creating whatever you can create that I don't feel as upset by the duplication. Now, no matter how I feel, no matter how you feel, no matter how any of us feel, this glitch is going to get patched out. It will not be something that, affects the game forever and ever. It will not be something that we have to deal with and contest with till the end of time. It will just be something that's fleeting. And then if people don't want to patch their game and enjoy whatever else Tears of the Kingdom drops or releases or adds or fixes or patches, then so be it. But I find this one to be more harmless primarily because it's single player, but also because of the nature of the game. Yes, Animal Crossing New Horizons was about creation, but you were so limited The game can only render so many items on the screen, and just in general, the whole nature of that game is like working with what you got. I feel like Zelda is not really about that. I feel like Zelda is mostly about actually doing more than what you can do or are expected to do. I see a lot of people are very upset with the fact that this glitch is being spread around. Like, why can't you just enjoy the game? Why can't you just play by the rules? Why would you ruin it for yourself? And honestly, that's kind of what it comes down to. If you feel like it ruins it for you, don't duplicate. If you feel like it enhances it for you, then you duplicate. There's no world in which this really affects anyone else. And I know that at times it's hard to think that way. But I feel like with Tears of the Kingdom in particular, given that there are no multiplayer components, I know at one point they talked about like maybe having like a Dark Souls style system where you could leave messages. We all dreamed of co-op. The only people you're co-oping with is a bird and a big old mountain man. All right? A fish person and a belly dancer. That's what you've got going on here. So no matter how many times I decide to sit here and say, you know what? I only have one fire fruit left. So you know what we're going to do? I'm going to make another fire fruit. No matter how many times I do this, no matter how many fire fruit I have my 2 fire fruit, it doesn't affect you. And like, that's nothing brilliant. That's nothing crazy. That's nothing out of this world. It's just something that I think we need to take into consideration. The launch of this game has been pretty darn insane. And by that, I mean great sales, great success, great happiness. Spoiler-free for a lot of people, insane creations, epic amounts of time, fun discoveries, new ideas, imagination, and yes, glitches. I don't think we should let the glitches ruin it for everybody. I don't think we should let a few little things that don't have to affect you destroy what has otherwise been an absolutely bonkers great launch for a game that is massive and that has every opportunity to break and fall apart. And for 99% of it, it just doesn't, you know? Like, think about how Jedi Survivor released, how Redfall released, and here we are with Tears of the Kingdom, a game that definitely attempts to do just as much or more, and we're over here without catastrophic crashes, failures, problems. Our biggest problem is, like, can we stomach to know that somebody out there is looking over here and they're taking your shock fruit and you really worked hard for your shock fruit and they're going in here and they're doing this and they're coming out and now they have 2 shock fruit. Can you cope with that? There are ways to work the economy organically as the developers intended, and there's ways to work the economy unorganically, and there's ways to just ditch the economy. You don't have to play with rupees if you don't want. But I will say this as sort of a final note that I think you should take into consideration, okay? When Breath of the Wild came out, they had set powers. They had magnesis, right? They had all these abilities that they intended for people to use. They wanted people to move metal, all right? They wanted people to throw bombs. They wanted people to set bombs. And people did that, right? That's what they did. And then over time, over time, people got a little crazy, right? People got a little fun with it. People got a little freaky. And people started to experiment. Over time, people started to make videos. And people started to get crafty. They started to do things differently than the developers intended. They started to do things outside of the bounds of the traditional Sheikah Slate powers. They started to experiment and expand The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and mold it, silly putty style, into something that fit what they wanted out of the game. And whether you personally want to play by the rules or not, this is as high as I can go, baby. Whether you want to play by the rules or not, Nintendo has explicitly stated that their goal with Zelda now is to make a game that supports players' freedom. That is what this franchise has become. There is no longer one right solution to a puzzle. Okay, there's no longer one right solution to a dungeon. There's barely dungeons. All right? And so, what we're left with is a game that you get to master at your own pace, a game you get to discover and uncover how you see fit, and a game that you get to decide what is right and what is wrong. And if what is right for you is, you know, to get in here and light these guys up, then that's what's right for you. If what's right for you is to get in here and not summon Riju because she kind of has like the stupidest ability that's really, really borderline unfair and really, 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 really easy, then hey, you don't have to. If for you, you want to duplicate items and you think that's what's going to make this great, then go ahead and duplicate items because that's what you think is going to make this great, okay? I can't tell you what's right. I can only tell you what's right for me. And I personally don't find item duplication to be all that upsetting. But you know what? If you do, if you find item duplication to be, you know, the worst thing that you could possibly deal with, then you don't have to do it. And at the end of the day, that's the great thing about a single-player game, is we're not impacted by other people's decisions. And I think it's so important to remember that when we're over here trying to decide if glitches are good or bad or how we want to deal with them, all right? Instead, you know what I say? I say go over here, and I say grab a cage, you know? Grab a cage, and maybe trap a bokoblin. Maybe take this cage and trap a horse. Do what you can to enjoy the game in the way that you see fit, and don't worry about what other people are doing. Find your fun and have your fun, and let other people have theirs. I think that's the message I want to leave you with. And to me, that's the most important part about Tears of the Kingdom. And I'm not going based on what I've said. I'm going based on what the developers have said, which is that Tears of the Kingdom is part of the new way to play Zelda, which is that you play it your way. That you create and you innovate. And if you want to capture animals, then by golly, capture some animals. And if you want to duplicate items, then dupe some items. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Give me your feedback. Let me know your take. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive. And until next time, love you lots. SwitchForce out.